People need to realise how much of an influential player that Mitchie is, especially with such a young team. He's one of those guys you just see lace up the boots in the sheds and gives everyone confidence just to do their job. He's definitely been a real mature player of late, and it's certainly showing on the field for him, and that's why he is our skip.
Anyone can see how much he impacts a team. So to have him back on the field was awesome. The aura that he brings, you just know that you have more confidence as a player. Yeah, he's definitely a very special player, and he's proven it on the big stage.
With Mitchell Moses returning, is that enough to save the Parramatta Eels season?
Yes. I think so. I think that watching the way they play, I'm not saying that they're going to win every game, but I think that they'll certainly have a better chance and they'll be in most games. His kicking game is sublime. I think he kicks, mate, he's one of the biggest kickers and he keeps them in play. Yeah. And I think the confidence that they had with he on the field last week proved that.
It's a long road back after what was a very average start. But from what we saw from Mitch and the control and the composure that he's playing with against the Tigers, clearly he makes them a 20 to 30 point better team. The challenge, they're up against Cronulla this week, coming off that Golden Point epic loss against the Tigers. Fitzy's going to have Cronulla up, so I'm excited about this game.
The influence on Mitch Moses has on the Eels is so significant, to the point of which any suggestion that Dylan Brown would make an early move to Newcastle for Lockie Galvin to come into Parramatta is dead in the water.
One game it took.
It won't happen.
One game.
Dylan Brown will see out the season with the Eels on the basis of trying to
Based on what Brown wants to stay now, does he? Because Mitch is back.
This season,
right?
No early release.
Because of Mitchell's form.
Absolutely. Because you want to play as long as you can with someone like Mitch
What about
Moses
a week or two in rugby
to try and...
That's squashed. Galvin's happy at the Tigers. I
didn't say that.
Oh, you got something else for us?
No.
Well, last week we had the three-way fantasy football musical chairs.
That was only a week ago.
Brown was going to Newcastle. Piers Paul was going to the Tigers.
Exactly.
Galvin was
that's
going
why
to
I think Mitch Moses. I just think he gives the club hope. And he does. He gives the club hope. And I'm with Gordy. His kicking game's unbelievable.
It was remarkable, the impact he had and the difference in the side with him and without him. Yeah. Like, it was incredible. Yep. We're like, okay, going into the game, it was hard to tip either Parramatta or the Tigers for that one. It was an interesting one, Galvin out, all that. And then Mitch just, from the get-go, they were a different team. And he can change their season, and if they continue on that trajectory, who knows?
Who's got a headache is Laurie Daly as the New South Wales coach, because he's got two incumbent halves, Mitch in the 7 jumper and then Jarome in the 6, who are in fantastic form. Yeah. And then he's got Nathan, who, for the first time in his career...
This is the $1 million question for me this week.
You guys changing New South Wales side?
Is Nathan Cleary a walk-up start to get that 7 jersey for New South Wales? Is he playing well enough to just take over from the incumbents in Moses and Luai? Because it was going to be Cleary and it was out of Moses and Luai. Could you be that confident now, given that they just won the series, the two of them, and played great in that final game, to reshape, repick, drop them or one or the other and just have Nathan Cleary come in? Is it as cut and dry as it was maybe a couple of months ago?
I think they'll go with Nathan in the number 7 jumper and they'll go with Mitch Moses in the number 6 jumper. They'll pick both of those players. I know he isn't in career best form by his standards, but if you
do you think he's an elite player? I'm with you.
He's an elite
right
player.
now, I'd probably put him in there, right now. But there's a lot to play out between now and then.
Yeah.
So if the Panthers continue the way they are, it's a big call to then remove the incumbents, the successful ones. Suncorp, here's the vision. Game 3. These two are two of the best players on the field.
Yeah.
Do you pick and stick or not? Like, it becomes a question now that may have not been a question a few months ago.
Yeah. Well, it was all...
Or am I out of...
No way out of line. Look, at the beginning of the year before a ball was kicked, if Nathan was fit, anyone would have said he's absolutely a walk-up starter as the number 7. But I think, given Penrith's struggles, and we're not the only ones who are pointing out the fact that he's been a bit flat. Matty Johns and Cooper Cronk put on a clinic the other night with exactly the nuances of why he's finding some subtle challenges in his game. So
You're very quiet over there. mate.
Well, it's a headache, but it's not a migraine. You blokes are pretending it's a big migraine.
I agree with Gordy.
Mate,
He walked straight into the Blues jumper.
Who?
It's not even Nathan Cleary.
Okay.
He's the best halfback in the game. And
it's a toss-up
And Gordy's
on who
sitting here
plays six.
laughing at us
What?
because he knows what Queensland would do.
What would they do?
They'd throw him straight in the Queensland
Well,
jersey.
what about pick
hang
and
on,
stick?
hang on.
What about pick and
Queensland
stick?
are the opposite.
Oh.
Well,
How many?
we'll flick Daly.
you coming up the magic ground?
No.
So he wants to
Daly.
walk down Caxton Street.
Hey, Queensland are the opposite, right? They would pick and stick. They've got a winning combination there that won last year's series. Cleary is, well, arguably the best player in the best half in the competition, but he hasn't done that at Origin level. He hasn't won 3 or 4 series.
Yeah.
Like
Cameron Munster.
It's actually, I feel it's the opposite. We're actually gonna change a winning combination for a player that hasn't won that much at New South Wales level.
He's the best halfback in the
Yeah,
comp.
I know what you're saying, but it's if Queensland were in the
It is
same
a different
position, I
competition.
believe they'd keep them there. That's my opinion.
I'm getting to my point that Daly Cherry Evans, on form, isn't in the Queensland halves.
But he's been a consistent winner
Fair point.
of series for Queensland for a
You know
long
what,
time.
Braith? Origin's the final frontier for Nathan. That's the only level of the game.
Yeah.
And I remember when Andrew Johns got to a stage of his career where he actually publicly declared, you were still playing at that time, he publicly declared, this is the final frontier for me, I want to dominate, and he went out and he did it. I think Nathan, if you put him in amongst all those other elite players, and we pointed out earlier, all the personnel changes at Penrith, I think he just clicks and
It's a nice headache, but it's not a migraine.
To get something clear, I love Nathan, and I'm not saying I wouldn't pick him. I just think it's just going to be a lot.
Yeah,
It's
I
going to be a
understand that.
tough decision for Laurie to make, and it's not as
Okay, bro.
clear cut.
Does it come down to the style? Does it come down to the style of play? Because
I'll take you back a few
so
years.
like then they were saying that they were playing a Penrith style, right? So when it was Nathan and Yo, they played the style that worked for them and won them 4 comp. With Moses there, they played a totally different style. They played a style that suited the team.
Yes, and it worked.
And they had a different coach.
But you know, what I mean, do they follow that blueprint?
Well, you'd probably pick Nathan and put Moses
And that's
next
the
to him,
question,
which is
and there's the answer.
what I think they're going to do. Is that what you're hearing? Or
Yeah, that
you're
is
hearing
right.
it?
Yeah, absolutely.